Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us here on, I don't remember what episode number this is. Is this number 4? I think it's 4. We are joined here today by myself, Captain Morgan, Fire Lore, Ozzy Wookie, and Private Latrine. Last but not least, Mr. Culper is here as our non-legally binding, non-legally the same Jamie. Did I get that right?
Legally distinct was the word.
Okay. Well, potato, tomato.
We'll get them next time.
Anyway, we're going to roll from this podcast into the operation tonight, which is Lemon Seed. It's a new operation that one of our members of our community, Lemon, put on. It is, I'm sorry, not put on, but developed and came up with the operation idea and the template and operation design. And he is going to really be happy and excited if we can get enough people to play it. So if you guys haven't thought about playing it, haven't had the time to think about playing it, whatever the case may be, you should come out and enjoy it. It's going to be a fun time. It's British versus INS. I don't know what the layer is. Hold on. On Camdash. Should be a really good event. It's going to be a lot of cool, fun toys. And that starts in about an hour and 30 minutes. So in order to do this podcast and everything, we normally do them on Fridays, but we decided we were going to do it today to kind of roll things in together. We are missing one of the ops today. That is Frost. He decided to go camping yesterday. As he's an old man, he predictably pulled something in his back or his groin or his knees. We're not sure which, but he's resting up comfortably on the couch, hopefully. So he's got that going for him. Continuing on through the calendar, tomorrow we have an FTL course at 2:30 Eastern. If you guys want to check out what Fire Team Leader stuff is all about in the beginning stages of leadership within our operations and within our community, that's an excellent, excellent, excellent course to take. And then we have Operation Deliberate Dismemberment on Wednesday. Should be another really, really cool one. And then on Saturday, we have Operation Enforcer, and then Super Fob Saturday, Operation Shoresy. So should be some classic Super Fob action happening on Saturday evening, along with a classic Goose Bay operation earlier in the day. I don't know if I have anything else that I've missed. Anything from your end, legally distinct, Jamie? Okay.
Jamie with 2 Ys.
Well, without further ado, we'll introduce our guest host tonight. That is Lemon Sledge.
Yeah, bro.
Had Lemon Sledge on my mind because I'm looking at his message here in the channel. I am sorry, Private Latrine. Probably should have had Lemon Sledge on tonight with his thing going on, but he was working today, and Mr. Private Latrine was gracious enough to bless us with his presence today, and I just shit the bed. So, moving on from that little flub, Latrine, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. Private Latrine. I've been a member of Ops now. Gosh, it's got to be going on about 2 years. I am a member of the SOT team. So the FTL course that's going on tomorrow, as Captain said, come on out. It's a great time. It's actually one of my favorite ones to teach. Gosh, I mean, I'm probably one of the older members of the Ops group, but really have never felt like it. You guys are the ones that, this is, you all give me the dose of testosterone I need because I have 4 daughters, no sons, and this is how I get that dose of testosterone. So, been gaming, God, it's got to be at least the last 10, 12 years, and my favorite genre is first-person shooters, but Squad kind of took it to a new level, and that's how I met all of you guys. So.
Awesome. And Latrine, what do you do for work? What is your current career field?
So I work in the aviation field. I wanted to be, years and years ago, I wanted to be a pilot. Got to be the pilot. I am a pilot, but I do not do that for a living. Back in the day, it was not a very financially lucrative business when I got out of school. So the starting salary back then was between like $18,000 and $21,000 a year, and I had a buddy that got me into the medical industry. I know I'm kind of going the long way around, but I had a buddy that got me into the medical industry for a whole whopping 35 grand a year, and that was good money back at that day. So just wound up coming back into aviation and manage a department, and we repair parts. That's the long and the short of it for the big airplanes. So it's fun.
Excellent. And what do you do for fun other than ops?
Fly. I love to fly. My daughters, two of the four, like to come with me, so it's something I can share with them. And I volunteer my time to a local organization, as well as, I don't know if you guys know what Civil Air Patrol is. I do that as well, so that's a lot of fun. Other than work, do that. Be a dad. I had a daddy-daughter dance today.
Oh,
It's
all right.
play
How'd that
ops.
go?
Yeah, it's my last daughter. She's the youngest one. Everybody else is too old to attend them, so it's bittersweet. It's I have Next year will be the last one, and then they're too old, so they grow
Mhm.
up fast.
I think you.
They grow,
I've got two of them sitting behind me right now, and it's crazy,
they grow up
crazy.
fast. But yeah, I mean, I was flattered that you guys wanted me to come on. I hope I'm interesting enough to keep people at home from falling asleep, but we'll give it a go.
I'm sure you'll be fine, brother. All right. What questions do you guys have for Latrine today? I was
I
told
mean,
last time I.
so
What are you
you
walking
work
out
in
to?
the like a maintenance field, kind of with aircraft.
I am in the office side of it, so I don't do it myself. We more or less manage it.
I
So
got you.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you take a contract people and make sure that their planes are all up to date with their
Uh,
their
Sort of.
repairs.
We take the parts. We make sure that the parts are all squared away, and then we sell those parts.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
So,
it's a fun gig.
from my limited understanding of how this works, I know you know this, but I've been delving a little bit into the aircraft world, here and there. The way that major airline parts work is that they have to have traceability. And so you
Yep.
can't just have some random part that you find at a Goodwill that someone's grandmother
Mm.
donated because her husband, passed away. There has to be traceability either from an aircraft or from a specific lot of parts that's new old stock or old new stock, things of that nature. So is that kind of what you do? You take
Yep.
like parts from outside aircraft, refurbish them, or you buy lots of parts that you hold on to and then distribute them as needed? Is that kind of the
Yep.
goal?
That's exactly what it is. That's
Gotcha.
exactly what it
So
is.
you're a
So
frequenter of Gov Planet and such.
yeah. So it's
Wasn't that
it's
that
it's a
problem with Boeing? They just didn't have QA.
ah, that's I I think every if how can I explain this? The best way to say it is everything in aviation, and Morgan can attest to this as well. It's all about procedure. It's all about procedure. It's all about following. You have to do step A before B, B before C, and if things aren't properly documented well enough, there's a chance that you might miss something. And I just believe this was a human factors situation, and somebody didn't document, and it got missed, and the rest is history.
Mm.
And what are your
So
thoughts on the whistleblowers being assassinated? What's your thoughts there?
Man's got
I'm
4
not-
daughters, Cap.
Allegedly.
Well, come on, come on, man.
I'm not
We think
much
that
of a
they're.
conspiracy theorist.
Do
Okay,
we think
yeah.
that they're Hillary Rodham Clinton's assassins as well as anyway? Um,
Whistleblowers are notoriously depressed. Like once you start blowing the whistle, you just get
They're-
sad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they just don't have a good life. If you're blowing the whistle, you're just in a dark place. Usually.
Yeah, it's actually one of the
Yeah.
depression questions
we're,
on the form. Are you willing to whistleblow? And if you circle yes, they're just like, yeah, depression right off the bat.
we're saying all this in parody, by the way. This is not
Yeah,
this is
Yes.
not
yeah.
factual. None of this is
Right.
real. We're being
Jamie,
facetious and
pull up the
entertaining.
legal disclaimer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if
These
Boeing
are-
I
wants
mean,
to sponsor us, we'll change our tune very quick. Just saying.
Raytheon,
number one.
reach out,
Elbit.
brother.
Elbit, shout out Elbit. Come on.
But yeah, it's knowing what I know. It is still, despite what you may see when the news media tends to sensationalize things, it is the safest industry that I could think of. I mean, it's everything that goes into it. I mean, mistakes happen. Unfortunately, in aviation, safety is advanced forward
By
one
blood.
accident at a time.
Yeah.
And that's the unfortunate thing about it, but it's extremely safe. I have no qualms about putting my family on an airplane, taking them with me. Everybody who I've met in the industry, from air traffic controllers to mechanics, everybody is professional and they take their job seriously. So
Very
Do you
true.
fly yourself?
Yeah.
I think you said that. What kind of plane?
small planes. So mostly 172s and 182s, which it's a smaller
Cessna.
4-seater. Yeah, Cessnas. That's what all my time is in. A lot of my time is in a technologically advanced aircraft, which that's just a fancy way of saying the glass panel airplane. Once I don't want to be cavalier about it, but it is once you get accustomed to it and you learn how to fly it and you've done it for a while, you follow the checklist, you follow the procedures, and it's as relaxing as a nice drive through the country.
Just a
Have you
bit
ever
more
used it
expensive.
have you ever used it in replacement of like commercial travel? You're like, wow, guys, just up on the plane. Let's go for a little.
Not with the family. It tends to be a lot more. It's a bit more cost prohibitive in that to fly 4 of us. You base most places are based on engine time or tachometer time, which is pretty close. But if you fly a plane for an hour, you pay $140 some an hour, and that's including fuel. And hey, however far you can get in an hour, great. 2 hours, 3 hours. Generally speaking, it cuts the drive time in about half. The airplanes that I fly the most. So if it takes 8 hours to drive someplace, then it's 4 to fly. That's a good rule of thumb. And then obviously that's around $400 or $500 to get there, maybe a little even more. So there's an effective range, and it's a range that eventually you get far enough away that it's just cheaper to fly commercial. We have used it to go on vacation, so I used it to fly out to Cedar Point, in Ohio, and ride the roller coasters. So that was fun.
On the plane?
Yeah,
Well,
I landed on mainland Ohio, but then
You
took
didn't
the
just
ferry
park it in
over.
the parking lot right there at Cedar Point?
No,
Probably big enough.
I wish. I wish.
It was a Saturday. It was too full. If you came on Friday, it would have been fine.
So
That's
I'm
trick.
gonna see if I can fly out in April and go visit Screv.
Yeah.
We're trying to plan that. So yeah, I haven't had the pleasure of meeting any of you all except for Morgan. So we had the pleasure of meeting each other in person at one of the meetups. So
Yep, in Chicago.
Maybe someday soon I'll get to meet the rest of y'all.
So I'm not
I'm
going to
not
Ohio,
shoot down in
frankly.
December. You know, why? What's wrong with Ohio? What's wrong with it? What's there?
What's wrong with Ohio?
Nothing.
Yeah.
So I would like
Oh.
to see a baseball game in Ohio. That would be pretty. It depends on who's playing.
Aussie, Ohio is much like you know what Australia is to the U.S. That's what Ohio is to
To
the
the U.S.
U.S. as well. Yeah,
Dangerous and full
Dangerous.
of criminals and
it's
alcoholics.
Yeah.
more. Well, we'll talk about it offline. If we mention that and the assassins in the same voice channel, I think it's. I don't think anything good is going to
It's a
happen there.
Well,
So
it's a
we'll just
wrap.
we'll take that one offline. Don't worry.
Well, if we just want to do the trifecta, we could ask.
No. La 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 la.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's,
I mean, this
would
is
be included in the murder. You reckon he would be included? Or they'd be like, nah,
yeah.
it's just a sound guy.
If they
He
send
didn't
an
really.
assassin all the way to Australia, they really mean business.
yeah.
So yeah.
We could just wait it out and just let it happen naturally. But no, they actually sent a guy there
Put a
to make sure
big
you
boy
die.
in your. What's the one? Is this a bigger version of your deadliest spider? They just called it Big Boy. I sent you that video. Yeah, there's like some
Nah.
little brown arachnid in Australia. It's like 2 or 3 centimeters long, and it's deadly
I'm
as
sorry.
shit.
The country with all the deadly shit is not.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen that?
Well, they
that
found a new
specific
version
deadly
of it.
thing?
They found a new version of it that was slightly bigger, and they called it Big Boy.
Hell yeah! I would like the
Its
assassin to
scientific name is like
die.
Arachnus biggest boyus.
That was definitely somebody had a couple of beers and was like, nah.
He's a big boy,
the big boy. Yeah, look, crikey, that's a big boy.
Crikey, that's a big boy.
Write that down.
Mm-hmm.
Some like professional from like England, just like, this is not professional. Write that down. I found it, big boy. I'm naming it. I found it. That's how it works, mate. Anyway, that's lunch. Let's go grab a beer. I do
All
like
right,
when like
lads,
things.
that's lunch.
Yeah, you get like weird things like, oh yeah, that's a seahorse, and it's like, what's that? Like 8 legs.
Hold on.
Let's go octopus. And it's just like, what's that? Salmon. How'd you get salmon? Man, salmon. Okay. Naming fish would have sucked, I reckon. Just trying to think up things that isn't just fish.
I saw like I have a calendar, state wildlife calendar, and like some of the names of the fish sound like someone like AI generated them.
Had a seizure? Yeah.
Long willy, it's like a long willy flatback or like flat willy longback. Like it doesn't make any sense. It literally just a little fucking fish like that big. He's a long willy flatback. Congrats.
Crabs are the best. They're just like, yeah, that's a mud crab, that's a spider crab. It's like, oh yeah, cool. I don't think there's any funny crabs.
Most
Oh,
of them
there's
just
funny
name
crabs.
location. They just name after a
Funny
location.
named crabs are. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, Atlantic crab.
Yeah. You got your Norwegian crab. Cool. Chesapeake Bay crab. Cool. Little crab
Actually really
kingdoms
hungry now
fighting against each other in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
You got New York crab fighting against fucking Chesapeake Bay crab. Probably. Just some undersea battle. You can't see.
So
Under the sea.
I got a question for all you guys.
Go ahead.
So I know how I found ops. How did you guys all find ops?
Karma Cut, obviously. I think I saw a Karma Cut video. I was like, all right, that sounds pretty cool. And then they all had, I think it was, let me check. When did I join? October 25th, 2020. So it was pre-COVID. No, is that during COVID? Yeah, COVID was 2020, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was during COVID. Bored out of my mind and found a Karma Cut video and joined in. So Yeah.
Mine's boring. Cap brought me over here
Yeah.
because we played in similar circles, and he's like, "We come over here and help us do stuff with." I think it was Zomboid at the time. I was like, "Okay." And yeah, we did
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, you don't even play.
Played a couple
You
of
play a
events.
little bit of squad, but I don't think you can play. Have you played an op?
Yeah.
He's played a
Yeah,
couple
I
of
played
them.
I played.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I haven't played an op in
been-
years. I'll admit.
Don't admit that.
Oh,
Well,
Cap's
gotta
on
take your
the
tag from
run.
you, bro.
No,
what
I've heard a noise out here.
Yeah,
I'm just checking it out.
It's the
So-
Boeing people
so-
already.
So Cap,
Taylor.
what you've been around for quite some time, haven't you? I mean, how did you find it?
Well, I had a deployment in 2018. Early 2018. I got back midway through spring, and my little brother. Oh, no, I'm sorry, 2017. Early 2017, had a deployment. Got back midway through spring, almost into summer, and we I had some leave, went home, visited with family, brother, sister, and we decided that we were going to start playing video games together. We had played RuneScape when we were kids, um, like the OG RuneScape. He
Yeah,
wanted to get
classic.
me back into computer
2007
gaming.
RuneScape.
Yeah, so he wanted to get me back into computer gaming and stuff like that. And we went and built a PC together, and I ended up leaving it at his place. But when I would come back home to hang out or whatever, I'd play. And he had gotten involved in SquadOps in this community, and played in a few events. And he was like, "Hey, check this out." So I went and hopped in, and I had a good time. It was fun. I had another deployment after that, and when I got back from that deployment, I decided to build my own PC, and then medically discharged from the military, that whole thing, and just started hanging out more. Found a job locally working for a chemical plant, and then started my own businesses, and now we're here. But
Now you're
yeah,
director
no,
of the
I'm
board.
the controller
Controller.
for the board. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Well, it was one of those like me. I just stumbled across it. I didn't know who Karma Cut was. I bought the game because my brother-in-law, who's a huge gamer, was telling me about it, and he's like, "Hey, you like first-person shooters? This thing's got all kinds of teamwork in it." He goes, "I think this is right up your alley," and he was right. And I hopped around for a little bit. Potato Fields, Ops. I can't remember. There was another server that I would frequent on and off, and it just seemed to click with the guys here. I mean, Phoenix, Minehay, Decrum. That's going back a little bit, but and then Brixie, and then Brixie and I just seemed to always our schedules seemed to sync, and it seemed like we were getting in matches all the time, and he was a blast to hang with, and I guess the rest is history. I still never forget when I got tagged up. Captain pulled me into another channel and said, "Hey, I need to talk to you." And I'm like, "Oh, what rule did I break?" And it was
He did the
actually
same thing to me. Yeah.
it was actually really cool. I mean, I wasn't expecting it. That was not my intent. I didn't. Now that I am, tagged up, it's been a great experience, and I love it. But wasn't really out to get the tag, and it's definitely a brotherhood, and I love it, and wouldn't give it up for anything. This is, like I said in the beginning, this is my testosterone hit. I need it. So yeah, it's great, and I try to turn people to it as much as I can, because it's a great community, and we do all kinds of stuff. I love it. So
Well, soon,
Take that, CrossFit.
we're going to need to get you up in a King Air 350 or a 1900D, or There's a couple G5s and a Challenger 350 that's coming along as well. So we'll get you up in something big and let you have some fun with that thing. How's that sound?
That's cool. That sounds great. Yeah, I'm actually I started the book learning for my
Cab, look out, the
commercial.
assassin.
So I've got to get my commercial license here, and I don't know. We'll see what that does.
There you go.
But
Oh, you're going for commercial? What? Yeah, that'll be
Yeah.
interesting.
yeah, so it's a blast. But yeah, I've got all kinds of history. I'm a Star Wars nut. I got all kinds of stuff on that. Uh, it's a interesting thing to collect because I remember seeing that in the theater originally when it came out. What was it, 77? So I'm
Okay.
dating myself.
I remember watching it when I was a kid on TV, right? It was on PBS or TNT or Fox or something, right? And it was like, holy crap, this is amazing. What was it like seeing that stuff in theaters? Because that had to be like,
It was
I,
crazy. It was crazy. I mean, from what I remember, not granted, memory's a little fuzzy, not that bad, but it was back when in the days when a theater was a theater, and
Mhm.
it maybe had 400 seats. There were none of these mini, metroplexes or whatever the heck you want to call them. And it was a massive screen, and it was just. I remember that movie just changed my world, and I've
I've
always been
never,
a bit of a sci-fi geek. So
yeah, I've never seen a Star Wars movie in a theater. I think like the sound design and everything, like even on like a home TV set, is insane. I think in a theater it'd probably
I
pretty wild.
saw all the prequels. I still remember seeing. I did that and Lord of the Rings all in theater. I still remember that.
Yeah.
I did the Lord of the
Oh,
Rings in theater, which was amazing too. Yeah.
Saw The Hobbit in theater.
Yeah.
What was that?
So did I, and I was like,
Yeah. So the problem was that we stayed up the night before and watched the director's cuts of all of the other like the original 3
yeah.
movies.
That's
beforehand.
it's like a
That's like
weekend thing. That's a full
13
weekend
and a
plan.
half, 14 hours, I think. We were fried. We were done.
Yeah.
That's a day job.
Yeah, that was
But
rough.
they're so good.
They're so good.
I like it as well because there's still like versions out there that are like, oh yeah, there's more scenes. It's like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, there's more.
The amount of stuff they must have filmed and then like cut half of it at least. There's probably like a full other movie for everything.
Well, they just had to
I
make
don't.
it.
Yeah.
They had to make it
The
short enough that they could actually show it in a theater and people would sit there. And
Well,
at the
yeah, and
time,
then
people it hadn't expanded to these three, like a 3 hour movie back in the mid 2000s was a long
unheard
freaking
of.
movie.
yeah,
That
you
was
had like
It was a
Lawrence of
documentary,
Arabia. Yeah,
movie that you weren't gonna finish because it was about someone's grandpa that you didn't really care about, right? Like,
yeah, like Lawrence of Arabia, like massive epic. You had like Titanic is probably like 3 hours, I think. But then like
Jamie,
you have
pull it
Lord of
up.
the Rings, and then the insane thing is they were gonna try to make that one movie.
oh,
Right?
that's crazy.
They were
Yeah.
gonna try and make that one movie, and then they went to the publisher or producer or whatever. I forgot who it was, and like, can we please make this 2? He's like, no, make it 3. There's no way you could tell this. Like, there's no way you can make this in 2 movies, much less 1. Do 3.
Yeah.
I think
that's how we
that was
get.
the director. The director was like, we're making more than one.
Yeah. So thank God.
I saw
for
I saw. Speaking of like long movies, I saw. I think Killing of the Moon Flower or something. Like one of the new. I think it's Scorsese or whatever. That's a long movie, and I watched it in the cinemas, and it was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. I was like, Jesus Christ, this movie needs to end.
See, that's another thing
like,
I don't like about movies. I can't. You can't leave when it sucks.
Well, you can, but it's like
but you wasted so
movie
much money
tickets
at that
now
point.
are like yeah. It's like I bought the chocolate, I bought the popcorn, and it's like This is
You
expensive.
dump your milk duds in your popcorn?
Yeah. No. I usually just rock the popcorn and a drink. I usually go to cinemas that let me like buy beers, so that's what I
Mhm.
do.
That's become
And
a
I always go
popular
to
thing here in the last, like, I would say
Yeah.
5 or 6 years. Like, just before COVID is when it really started kicking off. Was uh, movie theaters you can go into and like have an actual meal with your movie and
Yeah,
alcoholic
dinner
beverages,
and a
which has
show
been
type shit. Yeah.
yeah. It's I
Yeah.
think that's a phenomenal transition from just some sticky, floored movie theater that has uncomfortable seats and smells faintly like
Yeah.
flop sweat.
I saw one. There's one near me where you literally like lay down, like they have like lounges.
Yeah, the chairs go all the way
And
back.
it-
Yeah,
Like
they're
Chase Lounge kind of
It was
thing. That's kind of
it
cool.
kind of freaked me out. I'll be honest. I was like, it's a little gross, a little much. I can take ass to ass with a stranger, but full body to full body with a stranger, I don't know.
No.
He's a little weird.
I mean, if
Yeah.
I'm already spending $30, I usually do spend the extra 10 and get those nice seats that can go back and
But
have
you
a
had to
little
pay for
button where I
seats?
can like get us. Well, the ones that are nice, yeah.
Wow.
Like you upgrade,
Oh,
you go to like the extra class or whatever.
Yeah, you literally pay the ticket and walk in and pick wherever you want.
Nope,
I've
we
never
pay for
seen you had to
seats.
pay extra for a seat before.
It's like a plane. Yeah.
I've
Ironically
never
enough,
seen
it actually once you buy all the drinks and stuff, it probably equals about the same amount as the flight. It was a cheap flight. So that's cool.
Well, you watch a
That's
movie on a
awesome.
flight, it's pretty much the same thing. So
Exactly. I could
Well,
I could
except for you
travel at
got
the same
some
time.
stranger breathing heavily into your ear the whole time. Yeah.
and a baby crying,
Well, that's
and a
Yeah.
sweaty man beside
that's-
you reciting prayer, and
And
you're
a
like,
and a greater than non-zero chance of catching some sort of transmittable disease.
Mm.
Typically the flu,
And before
but
you got on,
you never know.
and before you got on, you just texted like about to go whistle blow at Boeing. So it's like,
And then your neighbor's like, yeah, I actually created a perpetual motion machine, and then your other neighbor across from you is like, yeah, I invented a car that runs on nothing but water. So
I invented
yeah.
wireless electricity, and it's just
Yeah.
like, wow, sweet. I hope that one guy praying at the back is like really praying, because I think that's gonna be me. Like when getting on like air travel now, you see these people like, oh yeah, we have to pray and stuff. I'm like, I'm going the other way. I'm texting. I'm just like, we devil at you, or hey Hillary, I know, and just like just run the
I'm
dice.
sure Hillary has a contract with him. So might not be.
You're just running the gauntlet. Then you're like, you know what? Ball out.
Fuck it, we ball, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, 100%.
And then when they come by being like, what would you like for your in-flight meal? I was like, the plane's not going that far. We're not making it.
Would you like the chicken or the fish? Neither.
Neither.
No way we're making it to dinner.
Cyanide, thank you. Whichever one is the cyanide.
What is the captain having? I'll take the other.
Well, they I think because of Airplane the movie, they actually make it so that both pilots have to have different meals now, don't they?
I think they bring their own meal on most flights now, so they don't even maybe the longer flights I've heard. Okay, so for like CONUS flights, so Kano US, they make them bring their own meals onto the aircraft if they want to eat something. That's what I've heard.
Kind of stingy.
I don't know for sure.
Yeah. They reimburse them. It's like, hey, here's a $15 per diem. Make your own lunch.
I don't know.
Bring it in the fucking peanut butter and jelly into the cockpit. Is that going to be a problem?
I can text a guy right now and ask though. Do you really want to know the answer?
I do actually. Yeah,
dude,
hold on.
Yeah.
Comes in with his like smoked meats and stuff. It's like
after that movie Airplane, they were like, that actually could happen. Both of them could be food poisoned at the same time if they have the same meal. So then it came in like a thing where they have to both pick separate meals just in case. So.
What happened when the movie with Denzel came out?
I like the POV we're getting of Captain Morgan.
That's the
POV
texting.
POV you're receiving a dick pic from Captain Morgan.
Okay.
That was the payment for information, right?
I just asked him. So we'll see what he says.
Well, all I know is aircraft food is nothing home to write home about. So, yeah.
I've actually had some pretty good meals every now and again. Like, just they'll sneak up on you. You're like, damn, that actually wasn't that bad.
Isn't it because you're
The,
at
the-
altitude technically? So you have
Oh,
like
yeah, your
Yeah,
taste
there is
buds don't
something-
work
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I think
well,
that has
it's
something
just
to do with it.
there was like
That's
some
really-
scientist or whatever, like an airline company was like, we don't get it because this food's delicious, and then we eat it and it tastes terrible. And this scientist was like, oh, it's because of the pressure, and they were like, here's a bunch of money, fix our thing, and he did it, and apparently it was so good that there were people who were like, I will fly you again just for the food. Like, damn.
Well,
Okay, he
if
says
you-
he says we can receive a free meal called a crew meal sometimes when we're away from home base, but if we're traveling back and forth between home base and shorter distances within the US, we usually just bring our own food or we pick something up at the airport, which can get pretty expensive.
Yeah.
So
They don't give
only
them
if
per
they're
diem.
traveling away from their home base do they get a crew meal.
I feel like that's stingy, right? That
Yeah, a little
that
bit.
feels stingy.
I
Yeah.
mean, most places don't give you a lunch. You know what I mean? So. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I don't get lunch, but my boss is a
Yeah.
dick, right? So
Yeah, your boss is a dick. We've been
How do you
talking.
fly-
We've been needing to talk to you about that. I think it's time to move on.
Gotta move on.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? I had something really poignant
I think
until.
of the best thing about
You
me.
want to recreate that? I was reading a thing the other day. A guy was doing like a 48 hour like living history thing, and he survived off a heart attack for 48 hours, and then
why would you do that to yourself? That sounds
you gotta live in the history. That's the whole point.
like
It's living
an
history.
abomination.
He lived off salt pork and
like
heart
people
attack
who-
for 48 hours, and then had a Coke at the end of it. He said the Coke nearly killed him. like it was, like it was so flavorful and different than everything you had for the past 48 hours. He completely forgot what his taste buds were for. And he's like,
48
I
hours.
couldn't do that again. I gotta work my way up.
Yeah, 48 hours is only like 6 meals though, so it's like
Yeah, no,
like, yeah, you're
it's
doing
crazy
it
how
rough,
you
but
kind of
it's
just
like
overrode
6
everything
meals?
where you just don't, you couldn't really taste anything because it's just flour and water and
Yeah.
maybe salt if you're lucky,
Yeah.
you know.
Salt, yeah. If you're lucky, you get
If
a
you're
tinge
lucky.
of fat in the pork. You're like,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Salt pork, it's just
But it's
you brine the salt off it and boil it. Like it doesn't taste like shit. So, you know, he didn't use his taste buds for 2 days, and then he was like, "Oh, Coca-Cola, why not?"
Imagine giving that man a cheeseburger instead. But it was still 48 hours. I'm like, yeah, relax,
Yeah.
calm down. I've done trips where it's like the same Rat Pack, just like an E.
Well,
E,
instead of
E,
Rat Packs
E,
from now
E.
on, do hardtack. No
That'll
balls.
go well.
No.
That'll
I
go
man.
well.
Come on, man, hardtack.
don't
Looking
know.
forward to that for sure.
People like put
Your
themselves in these
ancestors
hard
survived off of
situations I
that for
never
6
understand.
months to get to Australia, Aussie. You can survive 3 days on it.
Yeah, they were also criminals as well, so they didn't really like deserve it. Like, I mean, they were
They
like,
deserve
no,
to
we're not
eat,
giving you
right?
the good stuff. Like, yeah, we gave you heart attack. Maybe next time don't steal bread because that's the last fucking good meal you
Maybe
had.
next time don't
That was
owe
yours.
money to your fucking landlord, dude.
Yeah.
Idiot.
Yeah. I'm sorry that you failed to pay your tariffs to the local, I don't know, what are they called? Barons.
Taxes
But,
to the local
sorry.
baron, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Australia's in your history, in your future, I should say. So have fun with that.
How do you feel about
All right.
long boat trips?
Let's circle this back in. Let's
Sorry,
circle this
yeah, go
back
ahead.
in. No, you're fine. Latrine, what's your favorite story from SquadOps? What's your favorite feel good or otherwise story from SquadOps?
Well, the personal feel good is the day I was tagged up, which I already covered.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, let me think. There's quite a few. I mean, I think the meetups are really a great thing. It kind of trips your brain out a bit. And what I mean by that is you're used to just hearing voices, and when you're in the same room with somebody and that person's talking, man, does it get trippy.
Yeah.
the meetups are great because we get along so well on just online hanging out, hanging like this, and to get in the same room, play cards, whatever, just go do local activities, bar hopping. I mean, whatever it may be, that's fun to do. SquadOps wise, I really enjoy having those 2 and 3 hour conversations with Lawn Darts about how he thinks and how he sees the map and how he uses terrain. I mean, I've had quite a few of those conversations with him, and it's up my game. I love that. Just the camaraderie, man. It's I guess if you haven't experienced it, it's tough to put into perspective. But tonight's op is the first op I'm going to be able to play in a while, just because of schedule, and I am so looking forward to it. So, I can't mission wise. The one that always sticks out to me, I think it was the first time that War Pig was run. And it was the group, the squad that I was in. I mean, we clicked, and when things are clicking, when people are communicating, when things are just going the way that they should, it is an awesome experience. And that one sticks out to me just because that happened to be my ultimate game, right? Ultimate round. There's a lot of little moments, but those are the big ones.
That's cohesion is one of those things that's so hard to like comprehend or like say like, yeah, this is cohesion when it's good, this is cohesion when it's bad. But when cohesion is good, you just feel it. Everyone's just like, the brain waves are just completely in sync.
Everyone's got the same brain cell. We're all passing it along.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Or it could be just as simple as 2 or 3 words from your SL, and you know exactly what they want. And it's you sync up in a way that I can't even begin to explain. It's the coolest damn feeling, and that's the stuff that keeps me coming back. It's kind of like golf, right? You hit 900 bad shots in golf, but you hit the one good one just as you're getting ready to quit, and that's the same thing. You have
or hands in blackjack, or
you have a bunch of bad pubby matches, and then you have one moment, and you go, "That's why I'm here."
One absolutely like stellar fucking performance, and you're just like, I was gonna uninstall it. Dang it! All right, we're back in.
That's
roll map.
Fire's projecting onto War Thunder at the moment.
Yeah,
that's
100%.
Nothing to do with Squad.
Hey, I play pubby matches every once in a while. But no, War Thunder. There's so many games like that where they grind you down sometimes, and then just that one moment you're just like, okay, everything's clicking, everything's working perfectly.
Which is the same for Squad. You have 2 bad matches, and you open up the next one with the best air assault you've ever done. You're like, all right, fine. You got me for another 48 minutes. Let's see how this goes. It's 2 a.m. and you're like, yeah, but that felt pretty good. So.
The dopamine hit was wild.
Yeah.
And that's the funny thing. You just said it. The 2 a.m. right? Yeah. So you're grinding the whole evening, right? You're grinding the whole evening, and you're getting ready to. You're just tired. It's just not working. You look at the clock. It is that 2 a.m. And then you go, one more match. And that's the match where it starts to click, and you go, okay, I can't quit now. And that's the match that goes the full 2 hours.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, the sun's coming up, right?
Yeah.
So
you hear the nightingales outside start tweeting. You're like, oh, there you go.
The
Yeah.
ones where you
I
like
gotta
you
go
have
to
like
work.
just like the 2 hour long matches and you barely win. Everyone's like woo, and then you just see the entire server's like that was well fought. I'm out. Like,
Right.
yeah, right.
It goes
Yeah,
from
yeah.
it goes from 100 out of 100 to 34 out of 100. You're like, yeah, I think we all felt that one.
Yeah.
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 You're like, this makes sense. All right.
Yeah,
What was
that's one to end it on. Because then you try to do the one more after that, and it's gonna be an absolute stinker. I think
Yeah.
95% of the time you're gonna get rolled up like a
Mm.
2-year-old carpet, just gone.
20-year-old carpet, you mean?
What did I say? Shut up.
2-year-old?
A 2-year-old
I'm
car.
just
I was
trying to
like,
understand.
yeah.
Yeah, whatever. You know
If
what I
you're
mean.
rolling up a 2-year-old car, but you've just killed somebody, that's why. And you're like, whoop, man, that was a new carpet.
Yeah. Well.
So everybody's here has done squad leading, right? So what do you think is the one takeaway for somebody that's looking to be a halfway decent SL? If you could say one or two things, what do you guys think that those one or two things would be?
Well, I haven't squad led a lot, so I'll go first because I have obviously got a real good touch of the subject. It's really delegation and knowing
Wrong.
the guys under you. It's a lot of delegation and knowing the guys under you can fulfill their tasks. Having a good FTL is kind of very important for new squad leaders. I think.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are afraid to try it. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not my favorite thing to do. I'll do it if I have to. Just because it to me it's more of a brain drain, and I just like I'll do a round doing that, and I depending on the round, of course, but I'll be tired. I'll be tired, and I feel a lot of times I let the excitement get to me, and that's where you just gotta state your intent, uh, give your guidance and roll. Where I tend to like maybe over talk. That's my big thing. Because I'll record my POV every time I do it, and I'll play it back to see, okay, what did I like, what did I not like, and I can't get rid of the gift of gab. I talk way too much. So, but I think it's just having the faith in the people and just, hey, here's what I want you to do it. Occasionally you might have to, what are you doing out there? That's not what I had in mind, but maybe the message wasn't clearly delivered to begin with. So I don't know.
I think squad leading definitely is the hardest job because you have to know. I think you have to know each of the roles of every, especially in the game of squad. Knowing all the roles, how to utilize that's the hardest thing, I reckon. And then the next one is, I think it's that whole leadership thing. Make any decision. It can be bad, it can be good. You can learn from that, but indecisiveness will always be the worst thing to have. If you and ah too much, or if you wait for somebody else to be like, I need like, especially in squad, like, I wonder what command wants me to do. If they're not saying anything, like, take that little bit of initiative and just go do something. It might be wrong, and they might be like, actually, hey, can you do that? Sweet, you can now adjust. But if you do nothing, that's the worst. That's the thing. So that'd be the two things: is having enough knowledge of every other role, so you know how to utilize that stuff effectively, and then just make choices. You can rattle on for fucking 30 minutes, but if you're making a choice, sweet. If you're rattling on for 30 minutes and arming and ahhing and you're not doing anything, that is a problem.
Yeah. It's definitely it's a very good exercise for people just to step up and take charge, right? I mean, how often it's a responsibility. A lot of people, it's just at the end of the day, it's just a game. We take it seriously, yes, but I think a lot of people are intimidated to do it. I know I was initially. So
It's definitely daunting because, to be a machine gunner is easy. I have a bipod, I put that down, and then I just hold the trigger. Being a marksman, you can be all cool. It's like I just need to find a spot, put my bipod down, find a single guy, and try to do 1 to 2 tap him. Vehicles, AT, all that. Whereas as a squad leader, that's everything. I think FTLing, I've sort of given up on finding good FTLs in the squad, not because they don't exist, because finding them is more rare than finding a good squad leader.
Yeah.
But, which is a shame. But it's just also the way the game breaks down. It's not necessary all the time, and once you have cohesion with your team, that naturally forms. There will be a dude who'll be like, "Oh, I'll take these 2 guys and go off there." It's like, "Oh, sweet, cool." That's natural formation, natural synergy, I should say, or something.
Yeah, I think what ends up happening a lot is if you have a person that's a good FTL, they're going to make a great SL, and so they just naturally transition from that FTL to that SL role, like you're talking about. Where, all right, I'm just going to take myself and 3 or 4 other guys and go up the hill, and then pretty soon that 2, 3, 4 other guys becomes 7, 8, 9 other guys really quick. That's typically what happens in my humble opinion. But.
What do you, Cab? What are the two key things?
I mean, you guys
Don't
have pretty much hit on every one of them,
heroin,
but
chocolate.
It depends on how experienced you are in leading people, right? It's a video game, yes, but really the psychology of it's the same leading people there or leading people anywhere, right? It's a very similar transition to every aspect of real life. I know that sounds cliche because it's a video game. People are like, oh, well, that doesn't make any sense. Like, well, you're leading people, right? It doesn't matter if you're leading people to go, fix a copy machine, or if you're leading people to, charge up a hill on, Lemon Sledge's new op tonight at 8:45 p.m. Eastern, which is in 42 minutes from now. It's the same, right? I tried. Thank you. It's the same. You're leading people. You're trying to get them to do things they wouldn't normally do. You're trying to get them to listen in an environment that's cohesive, that works together well. But if there's someone that's starting out new, I would say listen to the other people around you, listen to the subject matter experts of their class, right? So, if you've got someone that's a great GL, when he says, hey, if I go over here, I can get a better sight picture, don't argue with the guy. If you don't know what his role is, if you don't know what his task is, if you don't know what he knows, just let him do his thing. You're just there to control the monkeys and keep the monkeys in the box, in Pandora's box, so to speak, and then releasing them when the time is right and most apt to do the most damage to the the populace Russians around you, or whoever the opponent of the evening particularly is.
Are you peeling shrimp?
I maybe. Why do you ask?
I was like, what is this jacket doing?
There's also crawfish.
Okay, you're good. You're good. I mean, feel free.
Look at that. You can throw some of that in dry ice and ship it on up here.
I could. No. I could. No, it's like one of my buddies who was cooking up some crawfish. That was the noise I heard outside earlier. I was like, what the hell is this? And he swung by and he's like, hey, bro, we're cooking up some crawfish. He's like, I didn't have time to ask you if you wanted to come down, but here's a bag. And he just threw me a whole bag of crawfish and crab and shrimp. So anyway.
That is a good friend to have.
I know.
Well, I will fight people over the potato chunks and a crab boil.
I've done my share of making sure that man was taken care of. So don't worry about that. No, he's gotten plenty of favors from me. This was his way of paying it forward, so to speak.
Awesome.
But experienced squad leads, that's where you can really start getting into tactics and techniques and learning how to set up ambushes properly and learning how to build out your kits in your squad the way that you want, where you can start telling people, okay, well, I know what an MG actually is, and I know what it's supposed to work like. So let me get one of those, and let me get an AR, and let me get this, and let me get that. And I don't want any marksman, or I do want marksman because it's the specific, situation we need them, whatever the case may be. And that's where you can really start getting into the kind of the doctrine aspect of things and start, planning out your engagements as effectively as possible. That's where you can really start having kind of that war game aspect of squad leading or commanding that you just can't really get otherwise. Halo Flash, what's happening, man? So it's one of those things where you can't you can't put a stop to the learning process that is squad leading or teaching or commanding or managing people. It's a constantly evolving process that you're learning from, which kind of leads into that fundamental practice that we teach in basic, and then it's refined further in our FTL course, which is the OODA loop. Um, that is a tool that you can use no matter what you're doing. And the guys that are squad leading all the way down to the basic riflemen should be using that technique to teach you how to do better and be better in everyday life. Because you're constantly evolving, constantly making changes, constantly fixing things that you don't even realize are a problem right that moment, but because you're working through this loop, you go, oh, all right, well, there actually is a problem here. I didn't recognize it. I probably wouldn't have until it was an actual failure point, but now I can fix this problem because it's not a failure point. And
I think that's something that's really important. I hate saying this because it makes me feel so old. I am old, but whatever. Like the younger guys here, we're teaching them this, and it has so many real world applications, things that you're doing. Staff members here at Ops, that is all stuff. Being a hiring type manager, that stuff, put it on a resume. Put it on a resume. At least the worst that happens is nothing is said. The best case scenario is you're asked about it, and then that just gives you a chance to highlight the experiences that you have. It's more than just video game battle tactics, right? It's real world, and I think that's important that a lot of people understand.
I agree.
So,
I'm totally not eating shrimp right now.
And crawfish.
So goddamn hungry.
I'm jealous.
Go get the smoker going. What time is it over there?
Just hit 12.
o'clock.
I gotta shoot off at 2:00. Gonna do some traveling, but so no smoking today. But I got leftover pizza in the fridge that I might slam before I leave.
There you go. I'm actually pretty excited about this. There's like even snow crab in here. I don't realize. I thought it was hot dogs at the bottom. No, there's snow crab.
Snow crab.
Yeah, see, look,
it's a little bit better than a hot dog.
My hands.
I mean,
are
andouille
still
sausage. Andouille sausage would have been great, but I'll take some snow crab.
Hey, Morgan,
there's that as well in there.
Okay.
Not sure if you can hear me, but Perska said he'd pay. They pay for a stream where you just eat crawfish the entire time.
That's on my OnlyFans. You can subscribe for $4.99 a month. You can put you can also put special requests in there. I don't do foot stuff, but everything else is on the table. So
it's just ASMR of
lying.
Sucking crawfish heads.
He just hasn't been given a good enough bid yet for foot stuff. Yeah. That's different.
Price is right. Yeah. Just not right yet.
Once you're on OnlyFans, there is like, oh, I wouldn't do that. It's like, no, they haven't given you enough money yet. You're already on this platform.
I would never. And then some creepy dude from fucking North Dakota's
Dubai.
Like, I'll pay you $150. Yeah, show me your toes.
I'll give you $300 if you show me your toes while reciting quotes from Star Wars.
Well,
for the money.
These are not the toes you're looking for.
There you go.
No, you have to like bring it up to the camera. You have to like.
Yeah, and then
where's the potato chunks?
Separate bag with potatoes and sausage. I'm just like, brother.
Seafood boiled potatoes have got to be the best thing ever made on earth. Like I love seafood's okay and all, but seafood boiled potatoes.
Something about that flavor that just doesn't. And I'm going to be honest with you. Old Bay,
That's the start.
not the same as Zatarain's. Old Bay's good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
No hate to Old Bay, and there is a place for Old Bay seasoning, but Zatarain seasoning, Tony Satry's, there is a special place in my heart for that.
I have no concept of what you're referring to at the moment. I know it's seasoning.
Oh, there's nothing like a good, crawfish boil.
Send me,
jambalaya. Oh my God, I miss jambalaya. There's no
Mm.
place to get good jambalaya up here. So, yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that to us.
seafood
Oh,
boiled
fuck
andouille
you.
sausage.
Fuck
Dude,
you.
I'm about to go put my pizza on. I'm just like,
Mm.
we're just
I'm
eating
get my
on stream
leftover
now.
pizza to compete
You know what,
with
yeah,
the seafood boil.
let's devolve. And yeah,
Yeah.
I'm one of those dudes. There's a place nearby me that does like the wood fire thing, and they always have the same deal. You can get 3 pizzas, 2 liters of Coke, and a garlic bread for like $80.
Mhm.
I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And
So it's
I'm
it's
definitely
wood fired pizza.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
What's
wood
pizza
fire.
gonna do for work now?
Okay. Anyway, moving on. All right, Latrine. It's your turn. I know you've asked a few questions of us. I'll put down the seafood for a few minutes. What questions do you have for us, man? It's your time to shine.
Well, let's keep it on the game side. What
All
was you kind of answered it, Morgan, but what was the game that got you started? In other words, like what's the one that got what got you hooked and is kind of led up to the point nowadays?
In video games?
Mine was Quake.
Okay.
That was Quake was like heroin to me. I mean, I couldn't stop.
Mhm.
I couldn't stop. And my now wife, we were dating at the time, and it was funny. I came to real. I'm like, I have to. I can't do this anymore. I uninstalled it and I walked away. It was bad for a while. I mean, I was playing till 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I had to wake up at 6:30 to go to work. It was not good for a bit. But that's what started me. That's what got my hook. What hooked me into gaming.
What got me was actually so I'm of the era where computers first came out in when I was in elementary school. So we had gotten one of the original Apple computers on a grant through Bill Gates. So he had given what I grew up in Spokane, Washington, north of Spokane. Uh, he had given a grant out to a bunch of schools in Washington State to have computers brought into the classroom, and so we had one of the first computer labs in the state, and we got the original Windows computer, and the first game that I ever remember playing that I got hooked on was Oregon Trail. Playing Oregon Trail on the Apple computer, and I was probably in 4th grade, something like that. Dying of dysentery and learning how to type on a keyboard and all this stuff. And then that progressed to we got a family computer when I was probably in 6th or 7th grade. That progressed into Baldur's Gate, the original Baldur's Gate, which was a great game. I think that was probably, I don't know when that came out, 99, somewhere around there, 2000.
That's about
I would
right.
have been, 2000, I would have been 13, 87. Yeah, so
Way to
13.
make me feel older than I already feel.
Well, just wait until you hear how old Fire is, or Culper. Anyway,
Yeah, I'm 28.
so I played that, and then I remember that being a game where like my grandmother had to like peel me away from the computer to go do chores. I grew up on a horse ranch, right? So there was always things to do. We had a couple of cows, we had some pigs, we had chickens, and we had horses that we would basically send out with hunters to go do backpack hunting with. And there's always shit to shovel, hay to put out, grass to go cut, wood to chop because the house was heated by an old boiler down in the basement. That's where my bedroom was, which was a terrible decision for my grandparents because I had my own entrance and exit just through through the crawl space in the back. Terrible decision for them. But it meant that I had like a whole floor to myself. And then, in the wintertime when things would get really cold, it'd be down to like -10, -15. There's, just 12 to 18 inches of snowfall on the ground outside. I started testing the limits of the boiler, doing stuff that, as a young teenager, you do, and turning that thing cherry red and, turning a low pressure system into a high pressure system. And that's not a good thing to do.
No,
And just
that's
tinkering here and there,
that's one way to end up on 1,000 Ways to Die.
Yeah, exactly. Just continuing on, from Baldur's Gate, it was Icewind Dale, which was another one that came out not that long after that. And then I didn't really play too many computer games after I joined the Corps in 05. That was kind of like a holding point for me. We played a lot of Xbox when that came out, Xbox and Xbox 360 and Xbox One. Ironically, PlayStation was the thing that we played a lot of, but a lot of Xbox games, and the original Halo series was big, and football, like NCAA and the NFL games, those were always very popular. But that's me. What about you, Fire?
Obviously, I'm a little bit younger. I started PlayStation 3. Yeah, I really started with PlayStation 3. I played a couple PlayStation 2 games. And it was all like Call of Duty and like God of War and stuff. I think my first real PC game that kind of got me started was you remember the original Insurgency? It's like modern infantry combat. or
Hell
something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, dude! I played the
Source
living
mod.
hell out of that game, dude. There's no customization, nothing special. You just rocked up. I remember rocking around with an M249 with the CCO on top and just running that for literally hours at a time. It was so good. So yeah, Insurgency was my real like first
Your
PC
jam.
thing that got me going.
Was one of the best in Australia for that, or at least on an Australian server. Had a ranking thing, and it was like top 10.
Oh really?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Top 10 out of
Yeah,
12
flex.
players, huh?
Yeah, it was at
Well,
least
they-
double digits, right? So that's
okay.
good.
They
Not
had
8,
to
20.
they had to keep it
20.
only Australian though, because at that time the Great Emu War was still occurring, and they couldn't focus too much on the saltwater crocodiles eating the undersea cables. So
Mhm.
It
Well,
does hurt that there's more
the internet was
fiber
under
optic
control. They
in
didn't want to
Ukraine.
have any of the emo war stuff information getting
Yeah,
leaked.
mhm.
that's true. Yeah.
The EMU CCP or whatever.
Yeah.
There's an acronym there
Great,
for sure.
the Great Emu Firewall.
It does upset me there's more fiber optic cable in drones in Ukraine than there is in all of Australia at the moment. That does hurt.
Yeah,
a
that's
lot,
kind of sad,
definitely.
dude.
Yeah. Mine
Like,
was
America's Army.
Oh, America's
Yeah.
Army.
America's
I remember
Army.
that.
That's
oh
a
my
big one,
god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember,
I remember-
putting a chest seal on a guy for the first time. I was like,
Yeah, you
I
had to
remember-
like get the badges and shit. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was good.
I remember trying to get through the basic training on that one and getting stuck because I couldn't figure out how to do it, and I gave up through the controller across the room. Here I was, having already gone through boot camp and School of Infantry, and I couldn't figure out how to play this stupid ass video game.
there was for a while there was an America's Army like competitive like team that the US military like all the branches
Yeah,
had
that
like
is
their own like
sponsored.
competitive America's Army team, and they were playing each other. And I remember catching a
Well,
clip
there's
of it like
official
early
Overwatch
YouTube, and
teams.
it was so funny. There is, yeah.
There's
They still do it,
Overwatch
but
teams and stuff now. Yeah.
but yeah, I remember playing America's Army. That was definitely a weird one to play early on, because it's definitely a recruiting tool. Like they were trying to they were pushing that shit.
It
hard.
worked. I
Yeah.
guarantee you it worked.
Oh yeah,
Like,
100%.
because it was that.
Yeah.
and there was another game. It was like Full Spectrum Warrior that I played on the Xbox. One of my mates had it. And I
Yeah.
was like, this is weird. My one was the Halo on PC. That was like
Oh, Halo.
my my dad had like a bunch of other games. Like he had like SimCity and StarCraft 2, and my little like Neanderthal brain as a young Aussie didn't understand. But he could put the circle on somebody and kill it. And
Yeah.
a core memory was beating the game and being like, I did it, I beat the game. And my father, being the monster he is, shattered me, being like, oh yeah, what you beat it on? Easy? Okay. And left. And I was like, motherfucker. All right then.
Couldn't celebrate your victories.
Yeah.
He had to put you down a little bit.
He was like, "Ooh, hey there, buddy, good job."
That's like
However,
you ever play like a sport game like Madden or NBA with like a little cousin? They start winning a little bit and
didn't
they
play
start
those
gloating.
games. Yeah.
You lean
like,
forward a
gotta
little
put
bit,
me
like
back.
okay.
I did that with my nephews with Uno. They were like, wow, you're shit at this, and I was like, really? And just hit him with those draw fours back to back, and they're like, oh, like, stay in your lane.
So that's how I picked my handle. So I got big. I no matter what game I play, I get shit on by all you youngsters. So I decided I'd name myself Latrine. So
You always
kinda
get shit
Have
on.
you tried Googling?
I'm always getting
Have you
shit
tried
on.
Googling private latrine yet? Because I've had Aussie Wookie as a handle for almost 2 decades now, and I like Googled it the other day, and I found myself on like a dating website. It was like Aussie Wookie
What?
38 or whatever. Yeah, it's like just one of those
All right.
crazy things where dudes just like scour the internet and they're like, "Yep, let's go." It was pretty funny. And I was like,
Well, I
"That's
mean,
mad."
did you get any replies?
Well, I don't know. I don't own the account. It's like,
Right. Wow.
Sure
I got
you
a phone
don't.
call.
Sure you don't.
No, nothing's coming up. Thank God. You scared me there for a minute.
you got to go to page like 8, and you'll be like, "What the hell?" I thought it was pretty funny when I saw it. I was like, "That's mad."
Yeah, I've had this handle for probably about that long. At 15 years, 18 years, somewhere in there. I mean, it's been a while. So I checked my footprint on the internet's still clear. So
Hell yeah. Well, I remember playing Battlefield 2, which is actually how I got into squad because I did all the PR stuff. That ruled. That was so fun. But as a young lad in high school, not really understanding how to spell, I think I spelled Reaper as like REPAR or something. Not
yeah,
Raper.
raper. But yeah,
That'll
My
I
other
mean
one was
happen.
I was big in Big Lebowski, so it was Ledude.
Mhm.
Shout out, that'd be great movie.
dude.
Yeah. Or his dudeness if you're feeling formal.
Are we talking about our name origins? Sorry, I had a phone
Yeah,
call.
I guess that's kind of where it went into.
Yeah.
I think mine's just a Game of Thrones reference. I think that was about it. Thought it sounded cool. So.
Yeah.
And then I just kept
Okay.
cutting it shorter and shorter.
I got mine because I'm a consummate alcoholic, but
Oh, well.
Hey, as long as
Aren't
it
we
doesn't
all?
Oh my
affect your
god,
daily
that's
life,
right.
you're
That's
not
a
an
drink.
alcoholic. So, you know.
Well,
I've had this handle for a while. This is the same handle I had on RuneScape with my brother when we played. Um,
what a flashback.
that's
RuneScape,
probably,
man.
a
Playing
15-year-old kid
playing
going,
that
"Oh,
on.
drinking's so cool
Yeah.
when I'm 15. I'm gonna
Yeah.
play this RuneScape game and call myself Captain Morgan."
RuneScape definitely was my introduction to how there's correct
Economies
society
work.
actions, and then there's like, or the alternative society doesn't agree with it, but there's nothing actually stopping you from doing it.
Yeah, this is the morally wrong
Yeah.
but legally okay choice. Yeah.
Yeah. going to like the
Like-
PvP area and being like, no, you can agree to this, and you can just run into it, kill somebody, and then run
Yeah.
back. Or
I mean, you could.
be really quick, try loot while somebody else is fighting, and just being a fucking battlefield scavenger.
Yeah, we call that jerking off on an airplane. Morally wrong, but what's stopping you? You know.
Yeah, it's
Free will.
It's an
Free
18
will
hour-
is crazy.
it's-
Free will is
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
it's an eight.
That
It's an
statement was
18-hour
just
flight.
said. That's
Okay?
wild.
Yeah.
Nothing's stopping you, but come on, man. Please be better than that, you know? Please. But
Oh.
I mean, you can.
Yeah, there's plenty of things making me could make me a better person, but like there's so much effort, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Ethics stuff.
like one of my mates was doing a charity thing where it's like a 24-hour like workout, and they're like part of a team, and they sent me the QR code, and I like didn't have the energy to put in my details to send money to the charity. But I had their details, so I just sent them money. I was like, "Wait, there you go. That's for charity." And they're like, "No, can you put it in the thing?" I was like, "No, I don't want to. I don't want to go through that effort. Here's $20. You can add $20. I'm still giving to the charity. I'm just not putting my name to it."
Hey, man. Still gave
And it's
charity.
pure laziness. It's like an extra 40 seconds. It's like, oh, then I have to pull out my wallet. I have to read the numbers. And I gotta flip the wallet. No, I'm not doing that. Here's $20. Give it to the charity. No worries. So I still gave it to charity. I still like the
Yeah.
fact when my bank as well sees me giving a charity. They're like, hey, you
forgot
you
about
can't
that.
get Extra Life or whatever. Last year I sent it was like an innocuous amount. It's like $10 to buy for a swear jar. And my bank called me being like, we've just seen some suspicious purchases. Like, what? It's like, yeah, you've just given to a charity randomly called Extra Life? I was like, yeah. Oh, okay. No worries. They're like, weird.
There's crawfish in that bag.
Just surprised.
You
Surprised
want
by your
crawfish?
altruism.
Yeah. They're like, yeah, usually it's just OnlyFans and Steam games. So we're
Yeah.
surprised. And every now and again,
And
the Bongo,
obviously
so-
groceries and alcohol. But
Yeah.
Well, I buy my groceries with the defense card. It's all good. No, I don't. That's legit fraud.
Let's
would
go ahead and
never.
record him. That's
No.
like a
No.
$4,000. Well, but it's
Hey,
Australian
does,
dollars, so it's like a
No.
quarter of that, right?
hey, does
Alright.
the ADF, do they give you a portion of the funds that you report?
I think they do.
No,
yeah,
they
for
don't.
sure.
Random
They
question.
don't. I've looked it up. Because the Americans.
They don't.
It was like I heard a thing like, yeah, if you rat somebody out to the tax agency, you get a portion of whatever they owe.
Yeah.
And there was a dude that I worked with that I hated, like absolutely hated, and he was just telling me about how he was committing this like tax fraud. And I googled it. I was like, do I? And they're like, we might thank you. And I was like, no, there's nothing in it for me. If I ain't, if you're not. Who snitches for free? That's a whistleblower. Right?
Yeah, right. No.
Well, even
But it's
whistleblowers
like,
typically
yeah.
get paid.
What?
Yeah, sometimes.
Unless you're in prison. Snitches
Right.
get
Well-
stitches. You know.
Well, and all snitches.
Well, there's a
are
fine line
bitches.
between whistleblower and snitch.
snitch,
There's two.
yeah.
It's really,
It's close.
really
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
What does it go like? It's
Snitches-
like whistle. No,
Yeah.
it's like
Snitches
snitch,
are
whistleblower, corporate espionage. I reckon.
yeah.
The more you get
Mhm.
paid,
I
it
agree.
ticks over from whistleblower to corporate.
Snitching is unethical. Whistleblowing is ethical. That's really the only distinction.
I agree.
If you're telling the press about something that's unethical, you're a whistleblower. You know.
Do you think there
If
are
you're
like
Alright,
corporate
ratting out
espionage?
your
alright, hold
friends.
on.
Okay, yeah, we're fine.
Hold on.
We're fine.
We're gonna go way off topic. We're way off topic. All right, we
Oh,
gotta
no.
wrap this up. No. We gotta wrap this up because Culper needs to run, and I gotta start the stream up for the event here in about 15 minutes. So what we're
What
gonna
event is that
do
again?
is Culper is gonna stop the stream, and then in 15 minutes I'm gonna start my stream, and we will stream the new op. Latrine, Fire, Ozzy, Culper. You guys are welcome to hang out in the channel if you want. We're just going to keep the conversation going, talking about the event, and then we'll do like a post-op AAR. See if we can drag Lemon in here and ask him how he thought it went, and go from there. Cool.
Cool.
Groovy.
Sounds good.
Cool.
All right.
Well,
So you have
thanks for having me.
15 minutes to get your beverage of choice, to get your
And
food,
pizza.
and right, I said food. That is a food.
That was an
And
option.
and I've got 15 minutes to peel 1.5 pounds of crawfish. So wish me well.
Good luck.
And then we'll go live here at 8:45. Cool.
Awesome.
Live from Saturday
Alrighty.
night. It's SquadOps Lemon Seed.
Well, thank you guys
Stay
who
tuned.
have come out and joined us for tonight's session with Private Latrine. Private Latrine, thank you so very much, even though I got your name mixed up with Lemons earlier today, for coming out and hanging out with us and sticking around. You've been a great co-host with us here. Thanks for the good questions, and we will catch you guys in 2 weeks.
Awesome.